Uh, uh, who likes it the least? It's John, right?
It's definitely me.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I said I wouldn't do a roundtable, but I will do a roundtable because I'm a liar. But I think it's good to kind of get a sense of like what Vanquish is, and I guess we should say Vanquish is third person shooter released in 2010. Is it what? And I've done zero research. What is it? The second of Platinum's games, or like the third after Infinite Odyssey, and then McDonald's Big Adventure, whatever it is, or Bayonetta,
Right, right, right.
Yep.
and then they did Vanquish, and then Vanquish is kind of weird because it's like his director is Shinji Mikami, and there are other games where he has like way more to say about like him guiding RE4 or like his desire to like foster new talent when he was working on the Evil Within, and then like there's like this like Archipel documentary where they interview him and he's like, yeah, Vanquish, he had a robot dog once, and then it was a third person shooter. We cut the robot dog, and
I
like
know.
that's like the height of his commentary. So we'll give Heather a moment to get back.
Yeah, we lost Heather.
So whatever, and I will say Vanquish is a game I respect, and I've come to respect a lot more over time. But it's still it's like one of the best third person shooters ever, and I still feel like it's a little bit like kind of half form or a little bit unfinished. It's a game I really want
Yeah.
like a sequel to. But I think it's good. Like it's not that the bad qualities aren't there, but it's more like I think the people who really like it, like the good qualities, are so strong that it puts it, like it makes it one of the goats. And then I think that the downsides are actually there. And I know that I'm a deeply contrarian. I'm a deeply contrarian person. So I weight the downside a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know. And anybody, I don't know. I think everyone else on here likes Vanquish a lot more. But yeah, just like sort of gut reactions to it. And
I like Vanquish a fair bit, obviously. I've I think it's a really weird game. I think it's sort of weird. It's my favorite Mikami game, but I think it's definitely I haven't played Piano 3. Actually, I haven't played a lot of his games.
I played Dino Crisis. Good
Nah,
Fix Adventure,
yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Aladdin.
Compared to like I think I like this game more than RE4, but I think this game is way less like well considered than something like RE4. It's a really weird game because it just has a lot of like strange sort of tensions in it, but I think that's why I like it.
Yeah.
Uh it's what like yeah, I mean I think the third person shooting, like it very obviously it's sort of a like I mean I guess I'll say I think the core appeal for me about Vanquish that really makes it like a special game is kind of like it's a game that kind of when you like it almost feels like it doesn't want you to be like good at it and like have fun playing it. It's a very strange dynamic because so much of the enemy design, I mean, it's based the not so much enemy design, like the level design. It's like it's very like Call of Duty veteran core, as people have called it. Uh,
Yeah.
like
A
of
lot of
like
flashbacks.
extreme, like a shit ton of hit scanners, like who can really punish you. The way like you get when you get hit, it forces you into the slow mo, and then you're like waiting for like 5 seconds to heal, if not more.
Yeah, yeah.
Is like it really that element really pushes you, or that half of the game really pushes you to play it as this super like just take pot shots like cover shooter in terms of like and it's not even really like cover shooter unique thing, it's just the very sort of safe, you just crawl and pick off enemies at a time and like snipe from the max range and like shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
uh that's like one part of the game, and then the other part of the game is like okay, the weapons have like all these unique properties, and like the slow mo is really strong and like all that, where you do like the epic stylish, whoa, I'm flipping in the air and headshotting the guy with the slow mo, and like using the LFE gun to like knock down all the robots and shit like that. And like these two halves are like in a weird tension, and I feel like that's I guess that's really I think why I like the game is like I like Ultra Kill. I think it's a cool game, but that's a game that it kind of wants you to like play it in that like style way. It's built around that, and I think paradoxically for me that when it plays into it that so much like that, it kind of isn't as fun and special, and it kind of gets a little older. Whereas this game, it's constantly like challenging, getting in your way from doing that, but it will still let you sometimes. There's some spots where you can't do it, but generally will let you.
Yeah, nice. And I was thinking like the Romanovs. I'm trying to think that there's a few Romanov fights where it's like, okay, this is like the best game ever made. And I think like the bogey fights are really a great example. Like the like the last one where it's like you have these two enemies that are always pressuring you, and as lethal as it is, there are a bunch of really good like sound cues and tells. So you like there is some information for you to work with. And then you're so pressured that you're kind of forced into doing the cooler like swaggier stuff. Where like if an enemy comes in and like tries to melee, or like if one of the bogeys tries to like melee attack you, it's like you're kind of better served by like going for a big melee attack or going for like a shotgun or an EMP or whatever, and then like learning how to lock them down. And there are other portions of the game, like one thing I kind of noticed going back through it was there's a lot of sections where it's like you're on like some little platform, and you're physically unable to go reach the other enemies. So it like literally feels more like a gallery shooter, or more
for
in
sure.
line with like Call of Duty. Yeah, nice.
Yep.
I think one of the more subtle highlights of the game for me is the second act. There's like the rotating train around you that's on the timer.
Yeah.
And so especially on Godhard, that's one of those like sections that turns from unassuming to very volatile.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else, because there's a section, I think it's like the beginning of like Act 3 or something, where it's like you're in the little like nightclub district and you have to like push your way down some stairs. Oh, what's over there?
Hello.
Yeah, we're getting into it.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it was good. What are your thoughts on Vanquish?
my thoughts?
Yeah.
I I have a very interesting sort of relationship with this game. I like it overall. I think it's very solid. But I could not bring myself to finish it in time for this podcast. I find it like visually exhausting. When I played it for the first time in like 2017, I was playing it on the 360 version, which is like, locked 30 frames a second, 720p, and it like physically hurt my eyeballs in a way that no other game has ever hurt me, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't play it. I had to put it down, and then when the remaster came out, I got into it. Obviously it's it has like rough moments, but I started to see the vision. But I do really appreciate this game. Still have never beaten it on Godhard. But I respect the vision. I think it's really good. I think it's really good.
Nice. Where'd you get to?
On the most recent replay, I got to like Act 4, and then I like stopped. So like the beginning Act 4, so like toward like a pretty good way through the game.
Yeah.
The farthest I've ever gone on Godhard is like, I want to say the end of Act 1. But that was some time ago, and like in preparing for this podcast, I literally could not make it past the third mission giant.
Yeah, the infamous one.
I could not do it. I swear to God, I played that fucking level for like at least 6 hours. Could not beat it. It's
crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Which one?
I haven't actually watched it, but I think there's a video of Inaba, the producer, going through that fight on Godhard, and it's like, yep, it's taking a sweet time. They put him through the ringer on that one.
Oh, no, it was a different producer. And I was actually really good at the game. He actually
Oh, never mind.
he won
sorry.
a high score competition when the game came out.
That's funny.
Never mind.
Yeah, respect Inaba. He ruined the company, but he's good at video games, okay?
I guess he had the merit or whatever. He's allowed to ruin things.
I know, Ron, I kind of cut you off. You were saying like, and I think kind of speaking to what Heather's saying, you were saying that like certain sections kind of go from like innocuous, like the train sequence in part 2 where it rotates around you like this like 360 degrees set piece, goes from like relatively easy to really really hard. I know that like I think the Burns fight is always bad, but the Burns fight becomes kind of nightmare. And I was gonna say like
See, I was gonna point to a few others. Like a lot of them go from innocuous to notable in very silly ways. I think that the one we are all familiar with, and this is a perfect time to splice in the head to the left of that KNRV0.
Left of the KNRV0.
The bit where you storm the hill that just becomes very scrutinous, very silly. Just the moment you peek your head out, you're very prone to just getting clipped. A lot of this is from my favorite enemy, the golds, the upgraded version of the hit scanners that just become really stupid. And there's also there's this like fountain fight in Act 3 where they literally spawn like 15 of them on you and just say have fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of those
Yeah, I think both of those
I fucking-
moments, like, if you kind of have a good route for it, you can like defang it a good bit. But like from hard to god hard and of those is kind of like okay.
I fucking beat that shit the first time by like abusing the cover at the base of the stairs with the lock-on laser, and I just sort of sat there and took pot shots. It's very silly. And also, got to mention one more for fun. Yes, the Romanovs are very good, but there's also the one in Act 4. It's the 3 drill dudes.
Oh my god, that was harder than the fucking bogey fight. I was sitting there.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because it's.
I'd love the audience to envision this. You have 3 dudes that travel around the map with an attack that will insta kill you, or they travel around the map in a move that has iframes on startup and they dig underground, so they just prolong the fight. And then immediately after that is a fight against a tank that will also kill you instantly.
Yeah, the issue isn't so much them. It's okay, there's 3 of them, and then there's actually like other enemies like up on the like high ground shooting you.
There's like 4 or 5 snipers, and there's like a turret at the end of the arena.
Yeah.
And that was one that was actually probably harder than like the bogey fight, because like when I replayed this on God Hard for this episode, and I had played through on God Hard before, and I remember the bogey fight being really scary. I remember the Burns fight being really, really tough, but this fight like just threw me totally off guard. The other sections were like bad, but they were like I kind of knew what to do. I knew the spots. I knew kind of like strategies. This one, I don't know what the fuck happened. I like didn't have any EMP, so I had to like restart the chapter a couple of times, and then it was still like the drill was like two inches from my face when I finally killed the final dude, and it was just a complete pain in the ass.
I suppose, in fairness, the one gun they give you, apart from the DLC, but we'll technically not count that. They do give you an LFE, I guess, so it's fair for you to knock them all into the corner, I guess. But that one's very funny.
That's another one where there's kind of like some like there are some cheesy strategies in this game you can kind of do to like. Okay, so there's like I think there's like the tiers of the cheesy strategy. Okay, there's like the this is like pretty reasonable of like, okay, you smoke the cigarette on the head to the left and then it distracts all the enemies and you rush to the end. That to me is like pretty reasonable considering like the actual like presentation of the objective is just you're supposed to like run through and not kill all the guys necessarily anyway. And then there's the shoot the guys in the 15 goals with a bunch of rockets. They actually give you a rocket launcher. That's probably what they want you to do. And then there's use the LFE gun to like get a bunch of guys in the corner and like loop them, which is like, I mean, yeah, you can do it. And then there's the double bogey. You can there's a loop you can do where you basically like you do like 2 shotgun hits and a melee or something, and then they fall over. You basically like trap them in a stagger loop. That being said, that all those things I mentioned, well, especially the last 2 things I mentioned, it's a little harder to do than you would think. So even if you want to do it, it's not tricky.
Well, that was one. I would say the drill fight is kind of interesting because it's like that was one where I tried to be like, oh, I will play intentionally, and won't just pick up like some random weapons. So I like used it like the disc launcher to like, try to dismember them because I thought that would actually help me. But it made the fight way harder because they like
those ones are really dangerous if you cut off their legs and they're just like zipping around.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like other sections that like gave me a ton of trouble because I think like that's because I think all of us, I don't know if Raph, you played on God Hard as well, but I was gonna say like I basically think that the hardest points of the game are like the first arena fight, the that drill fight, and then like the very end, and I think the hillside where it's head to the left of that KR and be a zero, and I think what the rest of the game is actually like kind of markedly improved on God Hard. I like because it basically takes away like the experience system for your weapons, so then you're kind of
Which is very stupid. It's very. I don't really understand
It's
why it's in
fake.
the
It
other
doesn't mean
difficulties to
anything.
begin with. Yeah, but whatever.
yeah. But I was just wondering like how you guys felt about like God Hard difficulty. Like I know it definitely lives up to the name, but just like do you think it's like the platonic ideal of what way to play through the game, or like any advice for people who are like maybe interested? Because like I think I know for me, my experience with the game got better because I was forced to like actually vary up some of the weapons I was using, and then also like respect some of the enemies, like or respect all the enemies so much more, because everything is so lethal. And but weirdly, I think unlike a lot of other like hit scan shooters, third person shooters of that time, which are like when they're really hard, you just stay in cover. There's actually this kind of nice balance where there are moments you have to stay in cover. You take because it's like you'll inevitably get hit, but there are also a ton of moments where it's like because you're so under pressure, like you're actually kind of forced to use some of your abilities a little bit more surgically. So just like if you guys could speak to things where it's like this is some really cool thing that you can do on like you can do in all the difficulty modes, but becomes like all sweeter on God Hard, or some moment that you think is transformed for the better on God Hard.
Well, I can say like even.
It's,
Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
oh no, you go first.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, even as someone who did not play it on God Hard, I was like really shocked at going from God Hard and then back down to hard. Um, just like the ways I was just like really chewing through everything because God Hard really trains you to like be constantly boosting, constantly dashing in all these different directions. You're like, just really, I feel like you have to have, you really have to use the mini map. You have to be like more mindful of
Yep.
like the entire arena that you're in, the space, like, where they are in relation to you, how you're moving, and like how that's affecting the enemy's line of sight, your line of sight. There are all these extra considerations that is just not a factor on normal or hard, and then you go back, like you go from God Hard back down, and then you just chew through fucking everything,
Oh, yeah.
and it's crazy. Go ahead, Reyn.
I was just gonna say, like, in terms of advice for people, one, use your SIGs, which
Yeah.
I am bad at.
So don't do that.
But also, just like say trust the weapons. They'll do their job. Even, I mean, a lot of it really is. Maybe for most people starting out, especially on the lower difficulties, I guess there's this sort of divide between the Gorgies or whatever they're called, like the normal hit scan goobers, and then you have the large dominating the Romanovs, the Bias, that sort of thing. They sort of it's like this inverse relationship where all the hit scanners become super lethal, especially because one of the subtle but very transformative things is like you have a bunch of friendlies with you as part of the story or whatever, and they can get wounded and you can heal them and you get free resources, but on God Hard, the like enemy aggression just prioritizes you all the time. So there's these very funny moments, like the moment you peek your head out of cover and you just attract all of these red eyes on you at once, which is sort of it's like good and bad. It's like giving you, in a way, something to really focus on, so you're actually consciously forming like a route through certain areas. But yeah, I'd just say like even against these guys, like a lot of the weapons, they'll do their job. They'll do hit stun. You can go for D-limbs. Shotgun is very effective. That sort of thing. Just in general, every weapon, even the laser cannon, not the boost. The boost is bad, but
That's
like
fine.
every weapon
Done.
has a use somewhere, and you will like find areas across the game where if you experiment, you can deal with things more effectively. Just that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Basically, is that all the weapons are pretty good. The laser cannon's like mostly pretty bad, but you can use it. It's like it can be okay sometimes. And the boosting gun is fine. It's just a gun. It shoots bullets. You know.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
if you're good at reload canceling, it's good.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah. I guess I didn't mention that. Yeah, reload cancel is like really important. That's another one where you can definitely. There's kind of some weird stuff that's like that and like the boost canceling. That's like, okay, yeah, they probably did not intend for people to do this, but also it keeps the pace of the game high. So I think it's probably a net good. But okay, regardless, you should use reload canceling. You should do boost canceling. The boost canceling is you just start the boost and then roll to cancel it, and you get a bunch of iframes. You spam that. You don't have full iframes, but you get a lot of iframes, so you can dodge a lot of stuff moving around that way. You still need to use cover though. I would say like Ryan was saying, the weapons, a lot of them have really, really strong properties. The LFE gun is probably the most striking example where it's kind of like annoying to use on the lower difficulties in the sense of like, oh, it's this orb and like, what the fuck do I do with this thing? But then you use it like, okay, first of all, it goes through walls. That is a crazy effect because you have a mini map that shows you where the enemies are. You can just shoot them through the wall. Which can, I mean, it does enough damage to kill regular enemies. If you, I can't remember if it kills them all the way or if it leaves them at like a sliver of health. But I mean, it's still, it can do the job. It knocks down Romanovs instantly, and it knocks out Bias, or it staggers them.
Yeah.
So that is a really, really strong like effect to be able. It's basically good against. It's bad at range, obviously, but like other than that, it's like really strong when you combine it with other stuff. Also, the grenades in this game are insanely powerful. If you're quick enough on the draw, you can actually be very, very aggressive and then just be like, oh, I messed up, and then drop an EMP while sliding, and that can save you like a lot of the time. And then even stuff like the dinky little, like I've been loving the disc launcher on this playthrough. It's seriously like a lot of the time it is like a better lock on laser. Because the discs when the disc ricochet, they kind of loosely will track toward other enemies still. So if you just spam it, then like the disc will just go flying around and like hit a bunch of the little small guys, and then it can chop off some of the Romanovs appendages, which can sometimes be useful.
Yeah.
I was
gonna say I was amazed when I was watching you play because I was like, a disc launcher I thought was just good for the Romanovs, and then I was watching you play before we like hopped into the call, and it was like, holy shit, this is like cutting through waves of enemies that I was having to spend so much more time on, and it was just one utility I did not know about at all.
Yeah, now pretty much all the weapons are like that, or at least like lock on laser. Like it's just you can kind of. If you can get, there's like you have to like kind of finagle it, but like you can shoot it in a way that it'll like you can shoot it behind cover depending on like where you're standing, and so it's just a really safe way to like dump a bunch of ammo and like kind of get some kills sometimes. But yeah, pretty much all the weapons have weird quirks like that you can use to
even like
do stuff.
I guess this is relevant in the disc launcher's case. It's the one melee attack that doesn't actually eat into meter. It eats into ammo, but as long as you have that, you're free to use it safely, even when you're overheated. And that's even down to the melee weapons on a lot of these. Like you have the heavy machine gun flip, which is a way to get into slow-mo like very safely, like out of cover. You can just like instantly proc it. And there's also the very weird like phantom hitbox on the Romanovs. You can sort of use that to loop them safely. You have stuff like the sniper rifle, like kick being an actual like movement tool.
Yeah.
The last time I was playing, I was sort of tapping into that a lot more and getting some mileage out of it. And then there's a few others like that. It's just this really interesting like web where each weapon sort of covers a few different niches that you're like always considering. At least I'm always considering. I know a lot of people, they're very understandably, they're just going to pick the checkpoint thing when they die. I have bad muscle memory, and I default to the Bayonetta. Like, I'm going to go back to the title screen and reload the save. One, because despite playing God Hard a few too many times at this point, I don't want to think about my death count. But also, the interesting sort of consequence of that is like this trickle down where my ammo never resets. I don't get like EMP restocks or max ammo refills or anything, and so there's a bit more of like a weapon economy to engage with. That's sort of eye opening. At the very least, there's like more longevity that comes into play with that approach. So despite everything, I think I would still be doing that now.
Yeah, and one thing I really want to stress is like, I know from my, like the way I play games, I'm pretty fucking vanilla in a lot of ways, and so like if you're playing on like some of the lower difficulties, the game gives you it's like the assault rifle, the heavy machine gun, and then a rocket launcher, and then if you trade out like if you keep your assault rifle on and then trade out your shotgun, trade out one of the other two for a shotgun occasionally, the way it works is you if you pick up a fully loaded version of like the same weapon, or like there's like an EXP drop you can pick up, your weapon like improves, and basically what it does is it means that you're really incentivized to stick to the same few weapons, not just because like they're strange in terms of like their utility, like getting value out of the LFG is it like it takes 5 more seconds, but not only that, like it will do like objectively like less damage. So one thing that I would say that I would attest to is like the jump from like the other difficulties to God Hard is also one where it's like you feel like you get to experience like a wider range of the game, and then certain sections, like it's one of the things that I think does also like alter your understanding of the game, where it's like this doesn't just play like other third person shooters, because when you're playing it with like an assault rifle and popping out of cover and stuff, it totally does, and then when you're doing stuff where you're like kiting a Romanov around a box and you're locking it down with the LFG, or if you see a room full of enemies where it's like, okay, that's a pain in the ass to deal with, but you have the lock on laser or something, it's like suddenly this is like a totally trivialized fight in a really cool way. But they're like applications I would never have thought about unless I was playing on God Hard.
Yeah.
It's kind of also where like, I mean, that's like a very also like that is where you can see like the Mikami sort of, you know, that style of design that kind of goes back to like, you know, classic arcade games and all that stuff. Just in the sense of like, kind of like a lot, just all this like weapon stuff, and it's based around like, okay, there's a weird hitbox interaction. Okay, this weapon goes through walls. This wall, like this weapon, like you know, it cuts through enemies and wiggles around or whatever. Like, and then like weird enemy interactions. Like, okay, you can like dismember the limb. This one dismembers a bunch of limbs. This one. It'll get a headshot if you know, kill them instantly if the lock-on laser like hits their head or whatever, and like all that stuff. There's just like there's a lot of enemy like interactions in general. I mean, also like the enemies where like the reds like will kind of stumble and keep trying to walk forward as you like hit them and stuff. It's like a very sort of, you know, that is very of this school of design compared to Western FPS, which they just don't do it that way almost ever.
How do you guys feel about the Burns fight? Apropos of nothing. How do you feel about the Burn? Like,
Oh.
what a great fight!
It's a cover shooter. You take cover.
I think it's so funny that there's the strategy where you can like try to like leave the door, because there's that door you go into, right, to start to like get in the last room of the fight, and if you kind of do it so that, I forget what you have to do, but you have to like kind of go in there and like just not actually enter the room, and you can try to like snipe everybody from there, right? But if you die, that checkpoint is going to put you behind the door in the room, and you're going to have to do it the real way.
Yep.
That is so funny to me. It's really bad. It reminds me of Halo 2.
Never a good thing.
Yeah, you can, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where the system mechanics are enough there that if you can kind of like still do some cool stuff, but like it's literally just you in a room with the Marines, which are kind of like, they're not, you know, they're like kind of not actual like enemies like the Reds or whatever. I mean, in the sense that like, you know, they didn't make them for you to be shooting them the whole game. They're only for this one little part. And it's just like a complete shitfest nightmare of like hit scanners and like it just yeah. I mean, it's you can get consistent at it, but it's not exactly, in my opinion, the game that is best.
It's the meta commentary on the staleness of other third-person shooters where you fight human enemies, and it's showing us the way.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That was exactly what they were intending.
I will say one thing I do appreciate over time, that not that this is a particular example of it, but the Marines in this fight, you can't rely on cigarettes at all. Like they just like phase through that because they are humans. They don't have the infrared sensors or whatever. But in general, over time, I'm really keen on a lot of attacks and enemy behavior elsewhere that is interacting with like more of the sort of player variables. Like the main thing is you have the bogey like heat grenade attack that is sort of dominating your attention a lot of time. You're like waiting for this to come out because it's like number one priority because instant overheating is bad. And there's situations elsewhere like the flamethrower Romanovs, and there's a very cute set piece. You're like halfway through the game, you're like part of this assault on this like giant walking tank, and there's a section where you're like under the leg, and as the thrusters ignite, it actually overheats your suit. So you have like this section where you're like playing a little naked. That sort of is interesting. Just like sections like that are interacting with you more than just how quickly can we kill you. It's still going to kill you quickly on God Hard, right? But there's news to be found.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, I think one thing that's like really striking about the end of the game is like you kind of go through the depths of the Burns fight, which is this kind of fairly like I would say if you're playing it pretty normally, it is a fairly protracted section where you're going and kind of killing each of the Marines, and you get to the Burns fight, and you go and you get your 1 or 2 hits in, and then you try to avoid the 50 different ways he can like instantly kill you, and then when you get through that, you get to the double bogey fight, which I think Hotpocket you said is like one of the best third-person shooter fights ever, and
I think it's literally one of the only. Ultra Kill has some good ones now, but for a long time, I would say it's one of the only good shooter boss fights period of any game at all.
Yeah, and so basically it's like it does not sound great like when you first hear about it, because it's like a fight against 2 enemies that you've already fought one of them before, or it's two doubling up on a boss that you fought before. But basically what it means is that you're always being pressured, and you're having to like keep in mind these 2 different attacks, and then the arena that you're in, you're in some like big energy converter thing, but it's a great excuse to have the cover move up and down. So it's basically all the variables are changing sort of all the time, kind of what the Ryan's saying as well, where it's like you have this attack that can like cause your suit to overheat, which basically leaves you like as slow as you possibly can be in a fight where you need to be really, really fast. And then also like your cover, like any spots that would be safe are constantly being upended, and they're sort of being rotated, where you have these big like death zones where you should not be at all, and then your few spots of cover. But yeah, I don't know, like
I had this really fascinating moment the last time I did the fight. I mean, for reference, I always worry a game like this. Eventually I fail to see the forest for the trees or whatever, because I think I'm at like God Hard run number 6. But in the last one, I got to the bogeys, and for whatever reason, I was just walled.
Yeah,
just out of this mental block for like 2 days. Eventually, I just like really started respecting it in a way that I was somehow tapped out of before, despite always agreeing like it's like the greatest shit of all time. And I mean, to be fair, so you only have to kill one of them. Like you only have to focus your attention on damaging one, because after that it sort of goes into set piece mode. It's indulgent because for a brief period you get like the super powered suit.
They skipped the cleanup part of the fight by doing that.
Yeah. So you get this moment where the like your boost meter extends like literally past the HUD and recharges super quickly. You can melee the guy without burning all your meter. That sort of shit. It's a cute way to make a bit of a trip.
Your robot
Your robot.
mode.
Say that again. Give us your spiel again. We'll cut it out with the magic of editing.
Good game.
Good. Thank you. Good game.
Thank you, right?
All right, Raph, you've been very, very quiet.
It depends on how much of that was fucked up.
You're like your very, very last thing about the bogeys. I think the rest of it was pretty clear.
Yeah.
Oh, just that the final bit where your suit is like fully powered up and you just get to indulge in all mechanics without really considering about any management is very notable. It's very cute.
And then the last set piece is even better because then you do a bad QTE and you're like, oh, this really was made in 2010.
Yeah.
Platinum
Yeah,
Games
and then
moment.
no, the final set piece is you get to kill all the developers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you
to shoot them up.
what do you feel about? How does this compare against the what was it? The April Fool's Platinum Games website there where you played like asteroids or whatever?
I don't remember that.
There was some Platinum Games thing where you could like, you hit some part of the screen and like it would turn into like Galaga or something.
That's fire.
That's sick. I'm trying to think like, I mean, we've done sort of the Soul Cresta. Oh yeah, Soul Cresta there.
Yeah, Soul Cresta, my goat. We love you, Soul Cresta. Shout out Soul Cresta. The last good Platinum game.
It's like the last one they made. Like that's
Yeah. No, Babylon's Fall came out after, I want to say.
Oh, man.
Or maybe it was like a month before.
We're talking about Babylon's Fall.
Yeah. For the first time that game has been mentioned in 3 years.
Maybe with the next episode, Babylon. We're fuck Killer 7. We're playing Babylon.
Absolutely not. No. Don't say that.
Raph unmuted. So okay, he remuted. Okay, what are your thoughts on fucking Infinite Undiscovery?
I bailed on it. It was ass. I cannot trust DS RPGs. That whole era was just so grindy and boring. It's just like, we're like the classics. No, you're not. Shut up.
All right. What is your pitch on Vanquish? Or just any thoughts that you have after listening to us yap about this for a while?
I don't know. I don't really have much to add. I wasn't expecting to talk much because I feel like you guys covered it. I think a lot of the issues are self-apparent. I think a lot of the strengths are self-apparent. I always think of the game in the same category as Halo for some reason, of just sort of, difficult hit scan shooter where you have a lot of crowd control abilities, a lot of ways of fighting back instead of playing super defensively. And it runs into the same issues as Halo, whereas sometimes, they put too many enemies, too many hit scans, some enemies are overtuned. There's situations where the only way through is through sort of memo aggression, right? Like just spamming grenades here or spamming cigarettes here. Halo's the exact same way. But when it hits, there's really nothing like it. Man, I don't know. We've already jerked off the double bogey fight. But I think Romanovs just being highly susceptible to crowd control, being able to stagger them, being able to cut off their limbs, being able to stun them, being able to just distract them or shoot off their head or whatever. That stuff like that, and just exploring that sort of crowd control, almost like a CAG in a way, almost like a stylish action game. I think it's really appealing to me.
I was going to say I had thought a little bit about the Halo comparison because I think there's stuff like the gold snipers remind me a huge amount of like the Jackal snipers and things like even just like kind of the relationship with the other Marines where it's like you're this like you don't tower above them but you're very clearly like part of this military unit and you're watching all these guys die and you're this sort of superhuman among mortals basically. And then also like the design of the space station is very similar to the Halo ring, but I had not really made the connection in my head because it's like a lot of what you're saying with the Romanovs is sort of true of the elites in Halo as well, where they're these big like enemies that demand a little bit like more respect and you have like more of a relationship with as you're fighting, where there's sort of this back and forth. But yeah, that was it. That was
right.
Yeah. I think you have one more thing you were gonna say.
No, it's interesting there because I think there's also Vanquish is able to like recreate those dynamics while having very dumb enemies. Right, like I think the big thing with Halo is that the elites are very reactive. They almost feel like another player in some ways because they're supposed to be very, they value self-preservation. They have tactics. They move back and forth across the level. They retreat when they're in danger. Whereas Romanovs, they'll just take it. They'll sit there and they'll just let you stun lock them for 5 hours. But they're still super engaging and super fun to fight, despite being so simplistic in their patterns. It's it's an arcade philosophy in a lot of ways.
I'm just thinking this is like an offhand thing, but a lot of stuff I think about is like how much like voice lines can kind of like change your relationship to an enemy, and like the elites and the brutes in the Halo series, like basically all the enemies, really like verbalize what they're about to do, and I kind of wonder, and like I think when we covered Fear, not on the inaugural episode of Regen, but
some other podcast.
in some other podcast, we covered Fear. And one of the big revelations was that a lot of the like intelligence, the perceived intelligence of some of the enemies was just the fact that they would just go, "I'm taking cover," and I sort of wonder like, would the Romanovs, would they like, could you? I think you'd have to really, really change like the context of the game to find a reason to have guys who could like lose their limbs and would still try to fight you. But I think they might feel a bit smarter if they weren't just screaming in metallic grunts or whatever.
I love the metallic grunts though. I think it's such a cool sound effect. It's great sound design.
I was kind of thinking, like, I wanted to, because I know that I was thinking about what you said, Heather, about the game being like kind of hard to look at, and I kind of agree. But I was thinking about like the general vibe of the game is like weirdly at odds with the way it is to play, and like this is not the weird. I don't really care that much about the story. I felt like, should I watch the cutscenes? And I was like, no, I'll just skip that shit. But like when you play Vanquish, the thing that I think is kind of striking is the fact that it's kind of it's a weirdly bleak game. Like at the end, where it's like all the characters, like with the exception of like Sam and Elena, the girl who's like guiding you, like everybody's dead, and like San Francisco's destroyed. What does Burns say? Like,
that was for the good of all Americans.
That was for the good of economic stimulus plan, or whatever.
That was a really good impression. Oh my god,
that was me. All pandemic, I would just go, "Fuck those idiots." But yeah, I think it's like it is a weirdly, I'll say bittersweet. Makes it sound like it's too intentional, but I think it is like kind of
it's bitter. It's just bitter.
It's just bitter. I was kind of wondering, I kind of come back to you, Heather, because I feel like out of all of us, you're the most like you've actually like you've made games.
Oh yeah.
And I think you're also I think you have cool takes on like arcade design and philosophy. But I was just wondering like where this game kind of like sits in your mind with like some of the other Mikami games, because I was thinking about like Piano 3 and RE4, and it's like, I don't know, it's like it's cool, but it also feels like, I think I was thinking like this is both like I think that the two things I was thinking about were like, this is in some ways is so far above like other third-person shooters, but at the same time it does have like many of the qualities of third-person shooters, and rather than that being like a terrible thing, it's probably like maybe an indication that for a lot of people like they try really, really hard to say like this isn't like other third-person shooters, and it's like, well actually this may be an indication that like third-person shooters have some of them have better qualities than like people give credit for. But I was just wondering like, how does this situate against like Tower of Duraga?
It's interesting. I feel like if you asked me a few years ago, I would have felt very differently. Like at one point I had this game listed, back when I had it backlogged, I put this game as like a fucking 10. I was all in on this game. And I think I'm definitely, as I've gotten a little older and as I've played more arcade games, I have like softened on a bit. I think it is like, it's nice, how it is clearly like a very like arcadey game. Mikami is sort of an arcade guy. He was mentored by, Tokuro Fujiwara. He has that sort of sensibility to him. And, in this game, I think it's like really amazing and just interesting and weird that this is like a modern action game that has a numerical scoring system. You don't see that. It's all like letter grades. It's like, medal grades, the stuff that Platinum normally does. I just think like, that's very interesting. But just like the length of the game, and I know I was looking into one of the really high level players of this game is Zayrok, who was like a speedrunner for this game, and he was saying like, oh, he tried to do like score runs and then just realized that as you really dig into it, the scoring system in this game is like very exploitable.
Yeah, it's totally
Like,
broken.
yeah, like
Classic.
not super well thought out. So just because of that and like just how uneven the set pieces are, I I would like I think slightly less of this game than I did a few years ago, but I still have a lot of love for it. And I think Shinji Mikami is one of my favorite directors, and I think in like within the broader context of his work, there is some blind spots I still have. I've never finished Piano 3, even though obviously these games are like visually very similar. Like clearly, there was some inspiration taken from that. But I think it's super interesting, and especially the game he made after this, The Evil Within, um, where you have this very old school style game director that is like really like brushing up against the reality of what it means to make a game in the 2010s. And you have, Vanquish and The Evil Within, which are, like struggling to have these sort of like arcadey design sensibilities and are just so fucking compromised in so many ways. And The Evil Within is even more so. Like that is the most compromised game of all time, and that's why I like it. That's why I think it's fantastic because it's like so fucking all over the place. And Vanquish, to a lesser extent, but still, it's really like, at odds with itself in a lot of ways. And I find that compelling. I think just like I said, the fact that there is such an arcade game that is still like has all these third person shooter tropes. One thing I don't know if we mentioned it like at the start, but this is they have talked about how this game was like partially inspired by like the 70s anime Kashurn. And I think again, it's just very interesting that there is like a modern military shooter, clearly playing to like a Western audience that is like directly inspired by Kashurn. And I think that's just fucking weird and cool. Um, so I will always love this game, even if it pisses me off and exhausts me.
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned this earlier. I just want to say I think because yeah, if you like compare to some other like kind of like real like well, okay, I'm not gonna well, how do I say this? I think there's a lot of set pieces that are kind of bunk for sure. Like, okay, there's this one set piece where you're like in a little cart that's moving. Not the one where you have to like it's in the big cart on the rail. It's like when you're flying one and you're just sitting there basically. Okay,
Yeah, and then
there's
and that
stuff
that
like
pissed me
that.
off.
It's called
That pissed me
pacing.
off so bad. Where the cutscene after it, he like lampshades it. He's like, "Oh, that wasn't very fun," and it's like, then don't put it in the game. Don't put it in the game.
It's called
Yeah.
pacing. You wouldn't get it.
See, I wouldn't
It's just
because
ridiculous. I will say, as like this is very I like relative to other platinum games. I feel like this has. It's not saying a lot, but I feel like this is one of their most well paced games.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
yeah,
Is that
Um,
even despite the stuff mentioned here, I still think, especially by like 3D game standards, this I would consider this an outstandingly paced game. Like,
and it's like set piece driven in a similar way to like Resident Evil 4, and obviously this is like not on par with that. But I think the best set pieces in this game are absolutely as good as the best set pieces in RE4.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
I go
you feel
along
the
with
same
that.
way.
And I think one thing that I was really like impressed by going back through the game was that a lot of the set pieces are just like fight this big enemy, which sounds like really
Mhm.
really basic, but like I'm thinking like the double Argus fight,
yeah,
where it's like I think that's at the end of Act 2 or something. I think it's after the big like train cart section, and instead of there being this big bespoke like we have to have a ton of animators do stuff, and I'm sure there are animators doing stuff. It's like kind of speaks to the quality of the core like systems and the quality of the enemy roster, that fighting one big thing in tank mode, one big thing, and it's like sort of bipedal giant robot form. That is like really really compelling, and like you have to like keep all these factors in play, and your suit's energy and the weapon economy, and what can kill you instantly, and that is like that feels so much more grandiose than games that spend all the time purely on spectacle.
Yeah, it is funny, like comparing to Halo again, how like in Halo 3 it's like 2 scarabs or this game basically has the equivalent that you just kind of do it. It's just like a thing in this game. And it's like, oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
okay. Let me say this real quick because it'll offend you probably, but this game is like when I compare this game's pacing to something like Bayonetta, it's like so night and day to me. There's so much stuff in Bayonetta that just pisses me the fuck off. And it's like this game, all the other than Burns, it's like all the stuff in it is like so inoffensive in comparison that it's sort of like, you know, I don't. It's like this feels such a breeze. Like I can just like replay this game anytime and be like, that was a great game.
You're cooking.
You tried to offend me by saying something that I agree with. That's crazy.
Okay, well,
Oh,
that's
you
good.
know what game this is better than?
We've all accepted it now, then.
Zoe 2. I would say that Zoe 2 is much
Oh,
worse.
fuck yeah.
I would say Zoe 2 is much worse. Ryan, your thoughts?
God. You've killed him.
Okay, now we're getting started.
You turned him into a robot.
Yeah, he became the zone of the ender.
All right, pull it back. Ryan, what are your final thoughts after talking about Vanquish for 40-ish minutes?
It's a good game. It's you shoot people and it's kinetic and it's enjoyable and there's things to play around with and don't be afraid of Godhard if you have brainworms for it, I guess. If it ever interests you.
Cheat code to unlock it instantly.
That's sick. What do you do?
What's cheat code online?
If you can get past the first fight, you can beat it. And you can like it is one of those things where it is very let's say volatile. It's one of my favorite words recently, but if you can beat the first fight, you are pretty much set to handle whatever walls may be in the way.
Nice. And then I'll say the other thing Heather brought up, this is one of the few modern-ish action games with a numerical scoring system. The other game that came to mind, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Or Call of Duty 4
What?
Modern Warfare. It has a score attack mode. I'm not
What?
Yeah, that's true.
That's crazy.
I'll be posting that. That'll be my next video. I'll be comparing, like, okay, actually, Vanquish pales in comparison to the scintillating arcade design of Infinity War that everyone has been sleeping on.
So fucking true.
All right. Raph.
Halo has scoring.
Halo?
Come on.
It does, yeah.
That's
it
true.
does have scoring.
What?
How good it is, though.
The MCC. You gotta unlock your achievement backgrounds.
That's all I care about.
You know what
honestly.
this game are we done recording, by the way?
Yeah, I'm still recording. I'm doing this. Is like,
Oh, but like we're done.
yeah.
Okay. You know what this game genuinely reminds me of, like the fucking High Moon Transformers games. Like
guess,
I feel
yeah.
like
I kind of see it.
like I feel like that's, or at the very least this is what those games should have been, right? Where you're like, I just want a game where I'm like Optimus Prime and I pop out of cover and shoot some guys and then I turn into a truck and just blast away.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
I've had this moment. I think I've told people this before. There was a part where I was driving and I almost hit somebody because I thought about like, well, Platinum made that Transformers game. What if they had made a spiritual successor to Vanquish with you? And I was like, and I was thinking that, and then I hit the brakes right as I saw a guy like cross the crosswalk, and I'm like, okay, this.
Instead, they made a spiritual successor to Bayonetta 2. Fucking assholes.
I thought you liked it.
I love that game. I think it's perfect. I think it's incredible. We should talk about that game.
Yeah, we should.
And Bayo 2? Sure.
No.
Banger.
I tried defending it and burgering so hard. Or Transformers.
I respect it. I appreciate it.
If we can
Thank you
enjoy
for
Monster
clarifying.
Hunter loot, we can we can enjoy a little
Literally,
Transformers loot.
literally. Just ignore the loot.
Why don't we play in Marlow Briggs?